TGIF, everybody. Alexander Jordan Robertson, nice to meet you. New name to me. Bran, how are you? Okay. So I hope everyone had a good week. Should have had a decent week, being long the dollar. Avoiding
long. Dale. Good morning, everybody.
Hey, how you feeling, Kman?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
All right. So yesterday I was talking about I had a feeling the S&Ps would roll over. They certainly did.
They did.
Really holding an important area here for risk on right there. So
yeah, we have OPEX as well today, which may add to the volatility that we're seeing in equities land. But yes, the yields put in a decent rally, and everything finally followed suit, right?
Yeah, we'll see. I still think there's more left in the dollar, but everything looks like it wants a bounce, even the metals here. Okay, we're getting some divergence here in the 4-hour on silver and gold. Silver looking a little better. It's a Friday, so, I usually don't see reversals on a Friday unless we have an NFP number. So, I think that you could wait till Tuesday to try the long side of metals for a bounce and maybe the dollar for a fade. I thought we'd get to about 105.5, 106 on the Dixie.
Yeah, the Friday before a long weekend. But I noticed this morning, and I said on the Flow Show as well, this is one of the days in the week where during European session we don't correct. Mostly during the European morning, we see some corrections in what's happened in
Asia.
And today we have not seen any of those corrections. So it does tell me perhaps we are seeing this last leg, the acceleration before the weekend. It's possible.
Yeah, well, if we get through 4,000 in the S&Ps, it looks like we could see 38 in a heartbeat. So on a weekly basis, it is Friday. We do have a weekly reversal, 2-week reversal. I talked about it Monday. To have a 2-week reversal, it means that we've closed, with the memory to the left. We reversed from the close 2 weeks ago, which I think was, I can't see this because it was 41.35. So we traded above it. That's kind of an ugly candle to me.
Yeah.
So, it's possible that we get a washout. I know everyone's postponed the recession and everything else, but we'll see. Pretty ugly week. Gold, pretty ugly week.
Hey, Dale.
Hey.
Good morning at TGIF and good morning, Kman. Before you moved on from the S&P, can I ask you? And Kman, I want to ask you this as well. I know Ryan's not here. It's what do they call it in the UK? Midterm?
Yeah, half
term. So a lot of the kids are home and people are off.
It's not half term, it's half term.
What? Off? Is it off?
HOF.
Is it really?
Carry on.
Soft day.
Serious?
Soft day instead of a hard day.
Oh, what the? All right. Call America. That's all I know. We're American. We don't deal with that. Anyway, jokes aside, I wanted to find out, what have you guys heard about? There's been a lot of talk. I know we've been discussing it the last couple of days. Have this volatility compression? It seemed that you're getting all these. What do they call them? The 0 days till expiration.
Oh yeah, 1 day expiration options.
Or 0 day. They expire today.
Yeah.
You're getting all the people are taking these intraday trades with options, and the market makers have to take the other side of that trade. It keeps the market's really compressed, but we're seeing a break in the S&P starting to break lower, and so the theory is, as a break happens, it could really start to accelerate. And I
Why?
think that's
Why? Because
what's that?
you know
why? You know why?
Yeah, because dealers are forced to hedge and take the other side of it. So
Okay.
if you
Well,
start
I've heard
getting-
that they've been selling puts during this. Every day they sell puts. So if they're selling puts and the market breaks, that's what could accelerate the decline.
it screws everybody, all the dealers that had to buy puts, right?
Well, they'll be on the right. Whoever is selling puts could get squeezed. Look at the week the VIX is putting in. I know it's not a green candle, but certainly came back from, and did not make a new low. So, I think anyone who's short vol, I don't care if it's on a 1-day basis by being short puts or however they design their trade, there could be a squeeze that could be hard enough that their eyeballs pop out.
Yeah, and a lot of people can attribute, some of the moves like back in 2020 to that, and but here's the thing, we're starting to see things break. I mean, you look at the dollar. The dollar is just ripping. You got gold's in breakdown territory. The S&P is really, getting close. I guess I wanted to ask you, Dale, what have you heard? Have you seen anything? Kman, what have you seen? Stelios is still, he's talking about silver, so he doesn't listen to anything else. Whatever. No, I'm just kidding.
Silver bouncing.
Just
ugly
kidding,
week,
Stelios.
ugly week in silver, but it's trying to bounce here.
What's that?
Ugly
No, but
week in
going back
silver.
to the S&P, what are you thinking?
Me personally,
Yeah.
I think because of yields having broken out, the pressure is to the downside. The only problem, as I said on Flow Show, is that it makes a lot of sense to be short equities. And that's why I think we're seeing Asian and European hours selling, and then the US kind of squeezing it back up. So I think equities should be going lower. I'm really worried though, because that's what everybody thinks.
That is a big risk, right? Kman, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it responds to the yield. So the move is natural. But regarding those intraday options, it's just a new invention, right? When the regulator said binary options are no good, so then they went like, oh, all right, let's do something different, and it's just mini or major accidents to happen to private accounts. That's the only thing I can think of, because it's just a bet. It's a bet, and market makers will have to hedge parts of it, but they will never hedge the whole thing, because the people doing that are paying a price. Whether you buy or you sell, you're paying a price for it, because you're always going to sell lower than what the real market trades, and you're going to buy higher than what the real market trades. So market makers are actually, I think personally, having a big laugh with all those intraday options.
Yeah, Go ahead, Dale.
Oh, I just want to push back on the sentiment. Not everyone is bearish. In fact, there's this thing called the greedometer, and we went into greed territory last week. We're not at extreme greed like we were back in August, but we're, when the meter is there, it doesn't say that everyone is bearish. So I don't think there are. If you look at the DSI, the S&Ps are at the highest reading they've been in a long time. I think they're up to 60. They were in the 20s at the beginning of the year. So I don't think everyone's bearish the market right now. I think a break right here would surprise people. They haven't reacted to the employment report, and the market kept resisting higher yields until yesterday. Every break was bought.
And it isn't even employment. It's employment, and it's CPI, it's PPI, it's retail sales. Shit, all of our numbers have been blowout numbers. How's the market not responding to that?
It is, right?
It doesn't till it does.
It is now. Dollar yen trades at the recent highs. Euro dollar trades at the lows. Aussie, Kiwi, you name it, they're all lower, right? So the market has been forced to react. Just
the S&P resisted for a week.
Well, that's the thing, Kman. It's like the currency market sees it, the bond market sees it, equities haven't responded, right? That's the point. And unfortunately,
they'll do it all at once.
it's like it's like, shoot, can you imagine like if the S&P finally goes, and this is the conversation we had yesterday.
Why don't you grab the chart? Everyone sees my picture on the S&P.
Okay, but this is the conversation we had yesterday, right? How about if the market finally just starts moving post producer prices, PPI yesterday, and we're starting to see the market finally crack a little bit here. Here's the S&P, and when we start to break down like that, what happens to the dollar that's already taken off? What happens to the dollar yen? Well, we have confirmation hearing next week, I think, right, Kman?
Yeah, Friday.
Yeah. Okay. So the dollar yen I might dismiss that, but look at the dollar index. I mean, the dollar index is taken off. Look at gold. Gold is broke. It continues its bear flag pattern. It's breaking down. We're at the 618 this morning. Just FYI.
That's why it's bouncing and silver.
Yeah, and you see that divergence. I mean, we've updated you guys through ForexAnalytix. You can see we are hitting the 618 retracement. You're getting all of these updates here inside ForexAnalytix. Anyway, but when you have all of this happening, what does that, like, if the stock market actually does break down and we start to see it finally, pay attention to all of this data that's happening, what happens to the dollar then? I mean, Kman, what do you think? I mean, what's that?
It should be even more beat.
Right. I mean,
I know, but that's what I've been saying. The stock market held up because the market was trading the soft landing or no landing, and as long as we don't reach the inflection point in yields, they will hold on. And what happened yesterday? The 383 on the US 10-year yield is important. Are we broken above? And what happened? The stock market finally found its inflection point. And today, I don't know what's going to happen on OPEX because it's always volatile and stuff. But I'm not excluding this Friday rally in the dollar really, because we are not correcting in European time.
Yeah, it's been wild. Well, there's one of the things that I tweeted a little bit ago, just make sure everybody, we wanted to talk about this, is the dollar. I mean, we should really take a look around just so everybody can see what is happening in the dollar complex, like across the board. So I'm going to do this. This is, by the way, what we do is we go through this every single day with the ForexAnalytix people 45 minutes after this show. It's private. We do it amongst the ForexAnalytix subscribers, and we go through this bias chart every day. We find out what our key levels are. This for example, this bias chart was made yesterday morning, and so you look at like today's lows in the Kiwi. The support level we wrote down yesterday was 61.95. The low today in the Kiwi was 61.94 and 1/10 of a pip. So we were off by like 9/10 of a pip. Sorry about that. Cable, we had support at 119. We went as low as 119.15, off by a few pips. The euro 106.05, we went as low as 106.12. So we're off by about 7 pips. You can see how important these bias charts are for us to develop every single day. So our traders in our community are very well aware of where these key levels are. But I want to show you the reason why you have to be careful with the dollar today is because you got the euro breaking lower here outside of this channel. You got the cable, big double top. We've been discussing, you're at the support zone, big support zone, because these lows right here, 119, we have 118.50 over here, but that, the low from back in December is going to be important. You got the Aussie, we're at channel support. We broke primary or initial channel support this week.
Looks like a head and shoulders the way you have it drawn, Blake.
Yeah, you could definitely argue that there is a head and shoulder pattern here. So I can go ahead and let me grab my drawing tool, Dale.
Because that's deeper than what I was looking for, 67, but that'll measure much deeper than 67, won't it?
Yeah. I mean, if it does reach for a head and shoulder pattern, it's going to look like that. Which, if you take a look at the entire move, I mean, you're talking about maybe about 50% 618 retracement of the entire move. So
then you back up the truck.
Yeah, exactly. Then you look, I'm looking for a big long down there. That seems entirely doable. But you can see why we're holding support here. Like if you didn't know that support was here at 68 cents yesterday, I'm not sure what you were looking at, because we had 127% extension right there, channel support. We knew we were going to bounce from these levels today. So here we are bouncing. Now, the question is, do we continue to break? The Kiwi dollar, horizontal support. Also, in case you missed this, 161% extension of that whole range that we were in for 2 weeks. We hit that overnight. We knew it was there. 61.95 with an asterisk. That means it's important. It's horizontal support as well. Swissy, but look at this. Swissy's breaking out. The Swissy is above channel resistance. This is the big breakout that been waiting for all week. So this is happening. It's on like Donkey Kong, as they would say. The dollar Canadian broke out of its channel. Now you can see this is a butterfly pattern. So, Gartley, if you're sitting here, fading dollars right now, you got to start looking at the bigger picture and wondering, wait a second, the dollar's moving across the board. There's one currency that it stopped where it should have stopped is, here, take a look at this. Let me find it for you, wherever it is. I have mine arranged differently here on the screen. Here's the US dollar Norwegian krona. If you look at, yesterday's analysis, US dollar Norwegian krona is nearing major triangle resistance at 1036 last night. Today, you can see here, we hit it. We went as high as 1037. And so, there are certain currencies that aren't not breaking out. And another one that's not breaking out is the dollar Mexican peso, which, I'm going to say, Kman, you've been all over this thing. I mean, you've been playing the Euro Mexican peso on the short side.
Yeah.
And the dollar Mex has just, I've tried to play this thing long twice this week. And I don't know how I managed to get out and not lose money, playing this alongside. It's been very difficult. But there are a couple things that aren't really moving. But what happens to these, what happens to these emerging market currencies like the Mexican peso, like the South African rand, should stocks take off? I mean,
South African rand is a different animal. I mean, don't look at South African rand to give you an idea on how stocks should move. South Africa is really wrestling with other problems.
Yes, for sure.
There's nothing comparable between, let's say, for instance, South Africa as an emerging market currency and the mix right now.
No, but no, I'm not making that point. That's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is when stocks come under pressure, risk aversion comes under pressure, shit gets thrown out the window like baby with the bathwater, right? Every emerging market currency is going to break down. And the rand is probably going to be rallying multiples, or dollar rand would be rallying multiples over the dollar Mexican peso. And not only do, as you're pointing out, they have their own very big political issues, but there's people that are positioned that will carry the carry anyway in this type of environment. And when they have to liquidate and they have to get out, I mean, that's when these types of moves happen, right? Where you see these types of moves. Wait, let me show you these types of moves, these types of moves, these types of moves. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, but then that's where the big difference lies between rand and MEX, for instance. And you can argue that if you express it the way you just did the other way around, if stock starts to roll over, rand will suffer, then yeah, completely agree. But mix is different than animal, right? I've been saying it many times. It's really doing very well because of the proximity to the US. And so it's a completely different animal. And of course, it's got 11% interest rates.
Yeah, huge.
There's a lot going for the mix compared to any other emerging market currency.
I'll tell you, it's the argument that, here on the F.A.C.E show, we've been, arguing it since last year here. It's Mexico is going to take a lot of business away from China here in the US in the coming years. And it's going to be the big beneficiary. If you want to own emerging market currencies, the Mexican peso is the currency to own. Doesn't necessarily mean today is the day to own it, but man, I'll tell you what, any significant rally in the dollar Mexican peso, everybody in our community knows this. I am selling it with both hands. So let's just hope we can get it. That's the key, right? Hoping that we can get a move like that. So we got about, oh wait, hold on really quick.
We got a few numbers, but
yeah, I was gonna say we do have a few numbers coming out today, don't we?
One interesting thing, Blake, if I may, you were looking at dollar Canada. There's a bit of resistance right here. If you take the highs from October, when the dollar started to correct, and then you go over January, very early January, just draw a simple line, and it arrives at 135.20.
Let me go ahead and do that for you. So right here.
I was showing this morning on the flow as well.
Yeah, I mean we're basically right there. Yeah, that's a big one. And what do you do with the dollar Canadian now? I mean, remember next week we have Canadian CPI too.
And don't forget on crude oil.
Whoa, we got Grega. What's happening, Grega?
Hey,
happy Friday to you. Glad you can make it. Hey, you know what? We had our guest cancel today, so you guys are going to get the ForexAnalytix crew, the team here, a little bit longer than normal. So Grega, I want you to prepare your charts because I'm gonna pass the charts over to you. So everybody here, you guys are in for a special treat. You guys get to hear Grega Horvat, which is for the last 6-7 years has been our Elliott Wave in-house Elliott Wave analyst. He'll give you an update on how he's seeing the market, which you can obviously get your view every single day here on 30 different instruments, but no better than getting it live from Grega himself. So Grega, hold on one second. Kman, going back to the dollar Canadian, Grega was just saying, mentioned crude oil. Yeah, let's watch crude. Let's follow crude oil as well. But what are you going to do with the Canadian here?
I'm a bit reluctant to go long Canada because, well, first of all, because of oil, and starting like the last.
Can you clarify going long Canada meaning short?
No, not long Canadian dollars, not dollar.
Okay.
Canada. I'm a bit reluctant to be long Canada right now because McClem and his mates are also sounding a little less hawkish than others perhaps, and I think there might be a little bit more in the Canada weakness to come, but I'm not sure whether it's going to be like an explosion in dollar Canada, which is possible up to 136.5 or so, because if you look at oils, they're a little bit softish. It's not coming off rapidly, but they are in a big range, but they are rejecting rallies, right? The oils. So and that makes me a little reluctant. Those two things make me reluctant to pile into Canada at least in the short term.
That makes a ton of sense. All right. Well, thanks for your thoughts there, Kman, regarding crude. Hey, just real quick, Grega, before I pass it over to you, I just want to say there is, speaking of data, there is a little bit of Canadian data coming out right now. And let me just see, we got export prices in the US, import prices, mostly Canadian data that the raw materials price index, the RMPI, is coming out, which Yeah, I would argue is probably, it could actually be a market mover, believe it or not. Everybody's obviously focused on inflation data. So, that the RMPI is something that people may pay attention to. So what I'd like to do, Greg, and because Dale's here, I'm sure Dale's going to have all sorts of Elliott wave questions for you. Dale is much better at counting waves than myself. So do you want to show us what you're looking at and any specific charts that have your eye right now? And if the market starts moving when the data comes out, I'll definitely get you guys' attention.
Yeah, sure. Let me share the screen.
Yep.
A very nice call on Ethereum. Right.
Dude, that was a great call. Sorry. Great. I'm glad you pointed that out. I'm going to show everybody what you did, Greg. I'm going to show everybody what you did last summer. There's a joke. No one got it.
Oh, how did you remember that thing?
All right. Sorry. Go ahead, Greg. Ignore me, please.
Yeah, I mean, Ethereum definitely, and cryptocurrencies surprised even myself, even if I was looking for potential recovery here after this wave 4 pullback. I mean, it was a pretty impressive move if we consider where the US dollar has been headed and where the stocks were actually just keep moving sideways and consolidation. So actually what I was looking on the Ethereum, and we shared this idea as well, is I was looking for this wave 4 pullback, and there was pretty nice support down here. We had this gap that was filled. I was looking for a wave 4 that was equal to wave 2 in that area. We had the 38.2%. And more importantly, we had this spike in volume here back in mid-January. And normally this volume, it will then cause a reaction to the upside if there's a red candle with this volume. But then obviously it means that there were a lot of buy orders that send the prices higher. And what I like to see is these same levels to react as a support when the price comes back and revisit these levels, because obviously there were plenty of orders, stop losses below that level. So I'm not surprised that market actually made a very nice turn to the upside from all of these personalities actually that somehow matched together. So it all came here.
A lot of confluence there.
Yeah, exactly. So that was why I was looking for a fifth wave to the upside. But I was still surprised because the US dollar, as you know, it made a very nice aggressive push to the upside. But of course, cryptocurrency stocks cannot ignore this dollar strength. And that's why we have seen now this slowdown, which in my opinion can be even deeper going into the next week. But looking at the euro dollar here, we've been tracking this corrective pullback. I still think that we could see this as an ABC formation, but even if wave C, final leg of this counter trend movement, there is room for 105 level. That's this wave 4 support down here. And that's the area where you also have this wave C that equals to wave A.
And then new highs after that, Greg?
Yeah, I mean, I will not say new highs, but I definitely would expect stabilization of the euro, because if you look here, that was a clearly an impulsive recovery headed into this resistance area. And this broken trend line suggests that we are now in a new phase called the corrective phase. So on this dip, of course, I will observe the price action closely for a new turn to the upside. I'm not sure if that would be already in a month. Maybe this correction can take towards this, can last till the summer, and then we see a new recovery. But overall, I just still think that multi-year bottom here on the euro dollar has been reached, and that we will see turning things back to the upside. But of course, firstly, we have to see what the Fed will do. Maybe they will be hiking for another 50 basis points, and then we are done. And then and that's when, of course, the US dollar could potentially hit resistance and obviously impact the other currencies. So looking also, but on the short term, as I said, there's still obviously room for more weakness. Now, if we look also on that's dollar index, that this one is pretty similar, obviously, but opposite direction. So we bottomed around 100. we are now in a corrective stage. Now here I use this base channel. Okay, that was it's the bearish channel which was broken here. So you know that market is in aggressive decline when you have prices trading below this downward channel, right? But same channel lines can act as a very nice resistance. So we are now at the first line here. Definitely very attractive potential first resistance that we are stepping in should be around 105. So again, I know that dollar is making a very nice move to the upside, but since we have only 3 waves up from the lows, just let's not be, at least myself, I will not be too aggressive on the dollar side. I know that there is room for, as I said, maybe 105. Here I have dollar index that's actually from the F.A.C.E. It's equally weighted to Aussie, pound, Japanese yen, and the euro. Okay, so maybe sometimes it's better to look on this one rather than classic dollar index, because classic dollar index, it has more weight of the euro, obviously. But here I'm also looking for room for more upside. But once we approach this level here from start of the year, that was a January. So at the start of the year, as you know, there are a lot of portfolio adjustments, and that's why I think it has an even better, not even better, but even more important time and price if we will see price retracing back towards this level, meaning for a new change in cycle. So definitely that whole area up here is a potential my resistance as well. So I will see how these things will unfold going forward. But I just realized that we are in a corrective phase, and that I should be careful whenever we are going to see these resistance and support levels retested. Looking at
about the gold or silver, Greg?
Yeah, I will go there in a second. Now here's also Aussie. Again, we have 5 waves up. We are now in a corrective stage. We've been talking about this reversal into a corrective stage. We are now coming back into this 4th wave area. Of course, there is room for 6,600. So still room for more weakness, but again, it's a corrective stage. I know that there was a lot of dollar demand because of these new inflation concerns, but we know that there will be another thing coming out maybe in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and this will change and this will impact the prices. So I still think that sentiment at some point will change here. Looking also, you said for gold. Now gold is also making a very nice deep pullback, but maybe if you're more midterm trader, looking at the big picture is important still. I think that was a corrective move down to 2022 22 lows, and that we could be in a new stage for all-time high. And now we are just facing a correction. It's normal, it always occurs. You're now approaching the first support of 1800. It would be level to observe. If we would suddenly make a very strong bounce, I would probably look to buy the pullbacks with the stops below 1800 level. Also, real quick at crude oil, this, I think it was on Monday, Biden administration said that they want to sell crude oil reserves. Is that correct? I think. So firstly here, back in November, they were looking to buy the crude oil between $67 and $72. But now it looks like that they believe that prices will be higher if they want to sell it, or lower if they want to sell 26 million barrels. So maybe this will cause another sell-off here. And looking on this updated chart, it's a pretty nice ongoing triangle. And with the current dollar strength, if this would really continue, I just have to be aware that maybe crude oil has more room to fall further here into this wave 5. So that's about it, what I have.
Nice review.
Yeah, thank you. Do we?
Okay.
Very nice. And by the way, can I take the charts now again?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna do this because I'm gonna toot your horn because and that's not in a perverted Steve thinking kind of way. Steve, if you're listening, you might be laughing. I want to show you guys this. This is the Ethereum call that Grega made just the other day. 13% move. That's it's pretty damn good. I don't know if he's got anything open right now. Like I turned around and went right around the same time. I turned around and put in a short for Bitcoin because of the 25,000 rejection. But yeah, I don't think you have anything up there right now on active patterns in play. But man, that was a great play on Ethereum yesterday, or over the last few days. Great job.
Yeah.
So Dale, what are you thinking here? I mean, this is it's Friday, and what are you thinking as we head into today?
I'll leave it with 50 Cent is back, buying the May 50s.
Buying the May 50s.
Yeah, you've heard that guy, that option trader throws millions of dollars at calls when they're VIX calls. When they're 50 cents.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that in a long.
Well, that's right. But now he's back.
Oh, he's back.
Guy's been right. Yeah, he bought a bunch of May 50s.
Okay, so tell me what his play was. May 50s.
That's it.
What?
Probably 50 cents. That's what he spends.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's how he got the name.
Got it. All right.
And there's been some
Mike was saying that he trades the VIX.
Yeah, the VIX. Yeah.
Wow.
So the 50 strike, that's hell of a move, huh?
Yeah. I mean, well, shit, if it gets anywhere even into the low 30s, those are going to be worth a crap ton, because, people would be like, oh my God, we're breaking out. So, I mean, that would be crushing it. Interesting. Oh, that's good to know.
He heard I bought June's a few weeks ago.
So did you buy you bought the June 45s?
June 25s.
June 25s. Nice. Very cool. Well, I think buying vol down here makes a lot of sense to me, to be honest. I mean, that just makes a lot of sense. All right. Well, that's what you're thinking. We haven't heard much from Steve. Steve, what are you thinking?
Steve made a great call on the dollar this week. And, besides all of Grega's great calls and the pips, everyone in this room that's listening to us right now most likely had a very good week. We were really on top of the CPI last Tuesday, and those moves are still paying.
I hope everybody's done well.
How'd you guys do out there in the room? Give me a Y if you had a good week. Hell yeah, from Jean. All right. A lot of good weeks there. Amazing week.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Oh, short gold. Where'd you get that idea? All right. Okay. So why don't you peel a few bucks off if you're not a member and join today? Who's going to do that? Diversify away from yourself. Diversify away from yourself. Okay, Derek. The way to say thank you to me is to join our community, which would be a favor to yourself.
It's $1. $1.
Well, that's Derek. I'm not asking for trials here.
Derek is Jethro. He's in our chat room.
All right. Okay.
He's a welcome back. Matter of fact, I might actually have a picture of Jethro. Hold on, really quick.
Jethro Bodine.
No, this is Derek. Derek, sorry, I'm going to make you a superstar right now. No.
Oh,
this is that's me. That's Jethro, and that's his son. And that was about 5 years ago at Grimaldi's Pizza in Scottsdale. And he came in Arizona. He's an ex-fighter pilot. So that's Jethro is his call sign. So he was out of our community for a few years, taking care of some personal business, and he came back about a few months ago. So Jethro, that's Derek that you see there in the comments.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what a way to end the week. A lot of people in overflow mode. They had a great week. And so here's my advice. Don't say that it's a house's money and get sloppy with it. Preserve it like it came from your savings account. Okay. Sometimes you have a good week, you get hubris and you get a little sloppy and you go, oh, no big deal. You know, I made that last week. You know, I'm just giving back the house's money. So make the house's money, find a place in your home for it. And that's it. Join. That's all I have to say.
All right.
Join.
And look, I want to say I appreciate the team. Everybody, even Stelios, I appreciate him too. I mean, you know, I'm not going to say that every day, Stel. Sorry. So
Okay.
Just kidding. I like to harass him. I think he had to leave. He actually had to leave. He's probably taking care of his daughters. But you know, I really do appreciate everybody's commentary here every day. I know Ryan's out. Kman, your knowledge is just a blessing to the traders here. So thank you so much for your input every day. Next week's going to be really interesting as we have you know, the Bank of Japan is going to see some musical chairs, right?
Soon, next week, Friday, we've got the hearings in Parliament, and then probably the yen is going to be interesting. I've actually let the last bit of my CPI trade go today in the high 134. So I'm sitting back a little bit. I'm still planning to be perhaps a bit long euro yen or so.
Yeah.
But I'm waiting a bit right now, and then into next week I'll probably be flat in yen going into that BOJ hearing.
Into the hearings, yeah. Well, look, I just want to say we here at the Forex Analytics community really appreciate your insights. So it's great to have you here, Grega. Thanks for joining us today and giving us your views in Elliott waves. And remember, inside Forex Analytics, Grega does come into our chat rooms. Here's just so you guys can see, like, it's conversations of our chat rooms. This is these are side conversations or discussions inside that you can see what everybody's talking about inside of the general chat room. We have S&P room, news room, trades room. This is where, you know, you can see, you know, what I'm buying and selling, what everybody else is buying and selling, who's posting in here, you know. There's someone came in. So, you know, this is our community. You want to be inside of it, you know, come join it, because it's probably one of the most active communities in and around the market. So but Dale, thanks for guiding us this week as always.
All right, Blake, have a great weekend.
Thank you,
everyone.
Dale.
You too, Kman. Glad you're feeling better.
Yes.
Hey, everyone, you know, enjoy your weekend, get your plan together, and don't just count your pips, count your blessings. Tell the people that you care about that you do. They're not mind readers. And the team and I will see you next week, and we'll lay it on the court again for you guys. All right. That's a wrap, everyone. Have a great weekend. See you, team.
Thanks, everybody.
See you, Blake.
See you, Dale.